Hey everybody, welcome back to IHC Craft Room. This is the first live stream of my new fabulous fall series where everything is going to be fall themed, and we're starting off with this enormous pumpkin wreath today. I've never made a pumpkin wreath before, so we're going to do this for the first time together. I have a general plan, but I mean, we'll see how it goes, basically. So let me tell you what my general plan is, and then we're gonna get the show on the road so that we can make it happen. So the first thing is, I think I'm gonna use this jute rope. Look at the size of this. This is a lot. It's 20 meters. It's no joke. It was $5 though, so let's just chill a little bit, Dollarama, with your $5. Okay. Okay, I have a bunch of ribbon over here because I may make a messy bow to go right by the stem over here, but I don't know, we'll see. Because I might end up actually just wrapping the stem with jute. So there's a lot of possibilities over here. So I'm gonna put these off to the side for now. Oh no, that's not a good spot for them, Mary. Just so that we can focus on one step at a time. Now I think what my plan is that I want to put jute rope all over this frame. So anywhere you see a piece of metal frame, it's going to have jute cord glued to it. I'm not planning to wrap it. I'm kind of glue it right on. I think that's going to look really cool. So that's step number one, or it's going to be one of the steps. I'm not sure, one or two. And then I'm going to use a piece of foam board to trace out the size of this pumpkin center. We're going to cut it out, and then we are going to glue on, and grab my glue. I got to go get my glue. We're going to glue something to it. Either it's going to be this craft fabric that I think is perfect and is probably the one I'm going to do, or this one, which I also love, or I also have orange felt. So we're going to see what blows my hair back, but these are the options I kind of have sitting around. And yeah, so we're going to get started with these. Look, so pretty. These fall bunches that they have. They're so great. All right. I think we're ready to party. Let me just grab my glue, which I should have grabbed earlier. Where are you, glue? Here we go. Well, if I don't forget at least one thing, at least I realized it before I needed it. No, it's not fancy glue. I'm just going to be using some regular paste you would use in kindergarten. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to open this up. I've never bought this much rope that it came on a hanger before. It's pretty, it seems pretty robust is all I'm saying. And it better be. It's $5. I can't get over the fact that it was $5. Anytime I have to spend $5 at the dollar store, I take it as a personal insult. And unfortunately, I have to do it, from time to time. There's enough times there. Oh, is this going all the way around? Nay. I'm just going to cut you. But that is something to be aware of. Everything we're using today is from the dollar store, or can be something comparably can be purchased at the dollar store. So if we end up using ribbon and not all the ribbon is actually from the dollar store, it's not a big deal. But you could totally get ribbon like it or better or similar at the dollar store. Okay, where do you start? I feel like this seems like a natural place, but it's not coming. How about you? I'm going to be angry if... yes, I found it. Yay. Okay, good. Now I don't have to be angry. See, everything worked out. Okay, I have my heat gun. It's been sitting here spitting out, not heat gun, it's a glue gun. I do this to myself a lot. Apologies. A glue gun. It's been vomiting glue. Chill, bro. All right. So I'm thinking, where should I start? At the top over here, and we'll go around first, or do we do I think we do what would these things be called? I've been trying to think of a word for these metal pieces that go across. I've come up with 14 different things, but I don't know if any of them are right. So we're going to call it a variety of things. But when I was talking about this with my husband, I called them spokes because apparently this is the wheel on my bike that I haven't ridden in 75 years. I think I'm going to go close to that edge. Close to the edge, but not touch it. if I can avoid it, because then we're going to go around. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to grab some finger protectors. Where did I put you guys? I had a whole bunch, so now we're only going to work with 2, so live with it. That's life. Sometimes we forget where we put things. All right. How's my battery? Good. All right, let's get started. I'm going to try my best to do this quickly without burning myself. So you know what? I can already see this finger is going to be a problem. So let's try to be smart from right off the bat. Okay, now I'm not going all the way because this amount of glue, I burned myself already. First try and I burned myself. But this amount of glue is going to dry very quickly. So I'm not going to risk going all the way to the end and then losing out on the opportunity to have the glue be, you know, glue-ish to adhere. Happy Saturday. Welcome. We're making a pumpkin wreath for the first time. See, there's that glue. All right. Well, let's pretend that didn't happen. Where else could I use it? This one? Let's try this one. Okay. So again, a little bit at a time. Enough that you can still see the glue steaming. Basically, I'm just trying to cover the front. Now, I mentioned in a previous live stream that I did for a wreath that I often reuse things in my craft room because I make a lot of wreaths and it gets expensive. And in some cases, like this one, when you stumble across a cool base like this pumpkin base, boy, oh boy, if you don't snap them up, you'll regret it for the rest of thine days. You really, really will. So lately, I think in the last 2 years, I haven't seen any of these specialty wreath frames in the dollar store, like at all. Oh, I have some glue that just fell on my tabletop. What can I wipe you with? What's this? Nope, not that. I'm struggling to find something. By the time I do, it's going to be dry. Ooh, this is cool. I have a little silicone. Yeah, that didn't help at all. I basically just now mushed it into my tabletop. Oh, all right. Actually, it did work. Look out. Look at me. Okay. So we are right at the bottom here. This is actually going very, very well. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be. The only thing I'm getting a little bit concerned about is the edges where you cut. Like, I mean, the edge where we started had like a finish on it so that it was not going to fray. But I don't have that luxury here. And we got to be able to cut through all of this. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I think it's important that I get a little bit of glue right under there so I make sure that I don't get it fraying right there. That's the spot. Okay, you get in place. Control thyself. Have a little decorum, okay? All right. Very good. I'm pleased with that. It's a little bit of a challenge to make sure that you get it to the right, like I want to cover. Okay, full disclosure, I have another jute rope that's just a bit thicker, like wider. And originally I was planning on using that, but then I realized I was just a little bit short when I tried to figure out how much I would need. And I didn't think I'd have enough. So I went to Dollarama this morning to get more. And they had it, but they had this one, and it's such a better deal. And I was like, do I buy the thicker one that only comes 4 meters, or do I buy the thinner one that comes 20 meters? And yeah, that's right. Your girl just bought the 20-meter one because ain't nobody got money, so we economize where we can. And a good deal is a good deal anywhere. Okay, stay on the right side, friend. There we go. Wow, I was really worried that this was going to be a bit harder than it has been, frankly. I mean, now that I said that, this already starts popping off, but I'll fix it. But as long as you do it in like little sections, that the glue is still warm enough to latch on. I can see that some is about to drip. Don't do it. Aha, I got you. But now I'm kind of stuck with you on my finger. Okay. I think this is going to look really cute. I went looking for, I had a completely different plan for this wreath before. And then when I actually started really planning it in my head, I realized that the original plan I had just wasn't going to work. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do now? So I came up with a second plan, and that required some kind of backing. And I didn't have orange felt, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money. So where did I go? I went to the dollar store, obviously. I went to Dollar Tree, actually, and I got this cute, this and this one. Like, get out of here. They're so perfect for this kind of thing. Do you know what I just realized? I should have cut out, I'll do that before we do the trim on the outside of this, but I should trace this now so that I have my foam board ready to go. I'll do it when we're done the ribs of this here. Ribs, see, that's another word we can use for this. I say this every time I work with hot glue, but I'm going to say it again, and I apologize for being repetitive and annoying, but that's what Italian women do, okay? Please be careful when you work with hot glue like this. This kind of hot glue can make you lose the will to live. Like, it's serious, and it's something to be aware of because I've burned myself a lot. Like, I touch it sometimes and it doesn't get to the point of it being a burn, but I mean, please avoid it at all costs because it really does hurt, and it takes a while to heal. So it's not like it's just the insult of the original burn. It's like you keep paying. I'm trying to get as close to the frame as I can without being right on it, because we're going to have the trim covered in this as well. Yeah. That works out pretty well. If I leave like an inch and then come back and put the glue on it, I think we'll do that on this next one too. Okay. So anyway, when I found this wreath base, I wish I'd bought two. I don't even know if there were two, but at the time it was very common to find different shapes at the dollar store. And now it's not. Like, now all I ever find is like round 14-inch round wreaths, bases 18-inch as well. I see those a lot at Dollarama, and square frames at the Dollar Tree. But that's pretty much it. Like, they don't have hearts anymore. I haven't seen stars in a long time. I haven't been able to find a cross in years. So this pumpkin one was a huge score when I found it a few years ago. I also have, believe it or not, a ribbon frame that is perfect for like a breast cancer research. And I am actually going to have a small series in the fall, in October, because that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm calling it the Think Pink Party. So I have a wreath planned for that very specific wreath base. Again, lucky when I found it, I picked it up. This is something that my husband and I talk about a lot, especially at places like Dollarama and Dollar Tree, where you think, oh, I'll come back. I'm not sure if I want it. I don't know if I want to spend the money on it right now. Yeah, if you walk out and you left it there, say sayonara, because odds are you're never going to find it again. Not unless you go back that very same day, which is not normally what happens when you walk away from something, because you've obviously tried to talk yourself out of it, if you're me. I do a lot of negotiating with myself when I'm at the dollar store. Like, oh my God, I really think that would be really cool for a project, but I don't really have it for this project. Should I buy it? I did that today actually, and I did buy something that I don't have a plan for yet, but they're so cute. I got to tell you about them. Okay, hold on, sit down. I'm going to tell you. I was like walking out, I was getting ready to go paint, and I went down the aisle where all the glassware and stuff is at Dollarama. And they had these little apple shaped, like clear candy dishes, I guess is what they are, with like a little stem and everything. Get out of here. They are so cute. I was like, an apple shaped? Yes, please. I can totally make a candle in this. So I picked up a few of them so that I can do an apple scented candle at some point in the future. But oh no, I'm about to drip. I can see it. Hold your ground, bro. Stay sticky. Don't drip. No, he's gonna drip. I can see it. You're not cool. You have no chill. No chill. All right, cool. I don't blame you. I don't have a lot of chill myself. All right, this is going super duper well. It's actually holding really well. And you know what? As much as that other thickness of this rope would have been maybe better, this is still big enough that I'm able to cover this without a lot of issue. Okay, stop there, because we are going to cut and then lift, because that's what I figured is the best course now we know. I bought a silicone mold recently, and it came with these silicone brushes. I think they're for resin and stuff. Can I tell you? Awesome. Ooh, see, you're a little crooked. I didn't quite. That's okay. There, I fix. It's fine. Okay, let's cut this one where we need it. And I left a nice chunk for this to see if it gives me a little bit more give. This is a challenge because my hands are weak. Otherwise, I can imagine how hard it would have been to cut the other rope then if this skinnier one is a challenge. All right, let's lift you up. Stop moving. Bloop. You flopped a little too far, bro. There we go. That's great. This is going to look so cute. Watch, Mary. Watch your fingers. I really wonder what I did with my other finger protectors. Sometimes when I'm setting up for a live stream, I get everything organized and ready the night before, or I do bits of it the night before, and then I prepare the day of just to make sure I have everything ready to go. And I put something somewhere thinking that's the perfect spot. Yeah, see, I just found them. Yay. I found the perfect spot that I thought was the perfect spot before. All right, we're in good shape. I think I'm going to keep going this way, actually. For some reason, I'm enjoying this as opposed to the other direction. Starting at the top and going to the bottom versus bottom to top. Okay. If you don't have finger protectors and you stumble across them at the dollar store, I say this every single time because they're that great. Please buy them. If you find them at the dollar store, buy them. If you already have a set, buy them anyway. Either to have as a backup or give them to your friends for Christmas. And if they don't thank you, they're not real friends, because real friends don't want you to get burned, okay? That's right. I said it. I said it out loud with all my whole chest. If your friend turns down finger protectors, big red flag. As a crafter, this is very true, just to be clear. In my humble opinion. All right, we got you. Oh, I see a drip coming. Don't do it. This one's moving, eh? I might have to put a little bit more glue underneath. We'll see. Oh, I got a little on my finger. Actually, it was dry enough that it didn't burn. Maybe I should try going this way so I can see it a little bit better and I don't end up on the side. This is where it would have been easier with the thicker rope, because then I don't even have to worry about can you see it, because you wouldn't be able to. But still, this does a pretty good job. And it was a screaming good deal. These pumpkin wreaths are all over Pinterest, which is always fun. I really like the size of them. They're really large. This is like a pretty big. It's like 17.5 inches across, like this way, and like 14 up to the tip of the stem, which is quite large. So this is going to take up a lot of the front door, which is great. It'll be really impactful. A showstopper. I see a little drip of glue. I saw you fall. I did it again. I should just let it dry. Okay. I think we're ready to cut this one, and then we'll do that last bit and glue it down. So they're not fraying much on the ends, which is good. I'm kind of surprised. It is fraying a bit, of course, and probably just because I'm not maybe using the best scissors for this, or I'm sure there's a way to make it. There must be. I should have looked it up, but I didn't even think of it. To keep it from spreading at the bottom. Let me see you from the front. Okay. Yeah, see, that one moved a bit. I'm going to put some more glue on that. I think I rusted my hand on it when I was working on the next one over. It's you, right? Are you the one? It's you. See if that works. So far, so good. It's very good. All right, let's go this way now so that I don't do that again. I really try not to double touch, as they say in the business world. Try not to double touch. I try to get everything done in one shot if possible. So I hate having to go back and redo a step because it wasn't right from the start, you know? Stay. The thing about hot glue is that it actually does dry really quickly. Even when you have like a big pile of it, like not this straight line of little to no glue, but like those really big puddles of glue, it dries fairly quickly. And it's really convenient for crafting because of that. The only thing is that for those first few seconds, you really got to be on top of it, because it really doesn't take long for it to adhere, but it can slip if you're not paying attention. And you need to give it those first few seconds to just kind of latch on. And then if gravity's not fighting it, that'll be enough and you can move on. But if gravity is fighting it, like if you're gluing something on the side and it's just not going to stay up, then you got to have a little patience and sit there and let it really grab on and dry before you walk off. Well, don't walk off your crafting. Stick around, but like before you move on to the next thing. Oh, that's going to drip for sure. Wow, you're rude. But it does grab pretty quickly. Oh, that is a lot less dry than I thought it was. I'm actually going to cut this one now. I think I've seen people use lighters to like light the ends, and I tried to do that once and it just really smelled burnt. Didn't actually do what I wanted it to do, but you know, I felt nice lighting it on fire a bit. It was a bit cathartic, if not useful. You're about to drip, I can tell. Fine, drip, go ahead, I don't care. I do care, I lied. There. That looks good. So now I have to decide, well, I mean, I'll decide it once we've attached the back, and then it'll make it easier to decide what we want to do over here. But I'm between doing more of like a country vibe that's less done up. So it would just be like, you know, would wrap the frame in this jute. This battery is so large that I actually was struggling. Oh, I cut this a little too long. See, you've moved. Why? Why? Okay. I'm gonna hold on to this for a minute. Okay. We got it. We got it. We got one left. And then we're going to pause on this and we're going to work on the background because I don't want to work around the twine. Oh. Okay. So this has worked out pretty well. I would try this again. I would totally do this method again. Even if it's not with jute cord, maybe this is actually rope, not cord. Cord's much smaller. You could do ribbon, I guess. You could do chunky yarn. I think I'm going to do a chunky yarn, most likely, for Thanksgiving. I had that in mind. Oh, you're just bipping and bopping, eh? Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have moved so fast. Okay, let's add this bit, and then I'll see if I can get you to chill. Okay, what do I need to see from here? This is a bit of a wiggly one. It keeps wanting to turn. Again, gravity, right? So I gotta fight it. We gotta fight that gravity. I've seen some pins on Pinterest of these pumpkins where people thread this boning with like beads and stuff, and that looks so cool. But I don't know how you would do that without cutting them away from the frame, and I really don't want to do that because there's really nothing that will attach them properly again, unless you know how to solder, which I don't, and it's not really something I want to learn how to do. Although, I mean, I'm pretty sure that'd be a good career choice. Very niche. Okay. You gotta make sure you stay right here. It wants to twist. Really, the number one tip for this is always be aware of where the hot glue is at so that you don't burn yourself. Of course, that should go without saying, but if you need it said, I just did. But really, I would say if you have finger protectors, use them. And otherwise, it's just about taking your time and having some patience because it comes together really easily. This was super simple. Which, by the way, every project on my channel is mostly super simple. I like doing things simply. That you can still make beautiful things very simply. It doesn't always have to be so complicated. Why have to go be so complicated? See, music, always. There's always a song connected to something. Chill, Mary. We don't have copyrights. All right. This is going to be the last one. I'm going to check my battery on this glue gun in a second. No, don't fall. I missed it. Okay. What do we got? This is good. I think we covered them all. Yes. Can't see that at all. Beautiful. Okay. So now, all of these are fully set, but this one is the last one. So it's going to set for a bit. How you doing? Oh, lots of battery still. Okay, off you go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab a piece of foam board. You can use construction, not construction paper. That would be too flimsy, but like a cardboard from like a cardboard box or something. I just happen to have a lot of these foam boards because I use them for a lot of different things, actually. And you can get them at the dollar store, which is where I try to get most of my stuff. So it's an easy thing to get. So let's grab you. All right. So I'm really just going to trace, not the stem. I don't need to worry about the stem. Where is my marker? Here you are. Now, we definitely need to make sure that it can get to the edge. So even if it's a tiny bit bigger than what you need, I feel like that's probably smarter than making it smaller. You could always cut down. You can't add on, right? Yeah. Okay, that's not bad. Well, I guess I should do this part. Boop, boop. All right, you skedaddle off to the side with you. It's time for some very painful cutting. This is going to be, I should have done this further to the side. That was silly of me. Oh, well. Okay. I think I'm going to start by cutting this piece off because I just want it out of my hair. Now you could probably use like a rotary cutting tool for this or an X-Acto knife. I'm not really good with X-Acto knives. It's just not a skill. I'd end up cutting this like a slasher movie. So I'm going to just take my time and cut chunks as I go, partly because it's awkward to cut foam board, in my opinion, and partly because my hands are a bit weak. So doing it in stages is easier for me. That's what I mean by stages. I'm literally going to rip this apart like a savage. Now, in theory, you could glue that frame directly onto the material that you have, whether it's felt or, you know, one of these fabrics like I got, in theory. But I think that would be a lot more difficult to manage because there'd be no structure to it. And that would cause, most likely, for it to like get really fluky and I don't know. I don't even know if it would stay on, frankly. I feel like this is probably our best bet. This is going to be a pain. I might have to come out this from the other direction. I could do this. I'll come back and fix you later. I'll come back for you. Wow, this is painful. But I have the patience. When it comes to crafting, I shockingly do have quite a lot of patience. In other aspects of the life that I live, probably not so much. My garbage is going to be full of like tiny pieces of foam board. Thank God I don't need this to be pretty. This is purely for structure's sake. I'm going to put a bunch of glue on it. It really is like almost the length of the shears themselves. Once we get to that full length, it won't move any further with that foam on the side. Maybe next time I will try an X-Acto, but I've never been good with an X-Acto knife. It's always very... Like I said, it's very stabby. We got to be careful with all the stabby. Well, actually, the other thing is I like to show all these steps because I could have pre-cut this, right? So that you didn't have to watch this whole section. But I feel like that's one of the things that I really felt was missing when I started crafting is I never really saw how people got around certain things. Like, you would just see them come out with this perfectly cut out shape. And then if you tried it at home and you ended up in this situation where you're literally ripping a piece off every like 4 inches, you might be like, oh, why was it so easy for them? And it might not have been. So it's kind of nice to see the struggle behind the finished product. So that if you're making it at home and you struggle this way, you know, you're not the only one. I struggle with you. In my heart. I'm there with you struggling. Yeah. All right, we did it. We did it. Okay. I'm going to just clean off the edges a little bit. Just so there's nothing hanging off the edge. Okay. Very good. Let's make sure. Let's see how this looks with our... Yeah, I think that's just enough for it to sit. I didn't see, the thing is, you don't really want it to go past your frame, right? But let's not forget, we're going to have that trim of this jute rope on the edges as well. So it'll kind of cover any overhang we have. So I think this is going to be muy bueno. So let's go ahead and add our whatever we're going to pick to go on top. So these are the 3 options that I found today at the Dollar Tree that I think are all great options. So check what you've got laying around. I would have probably just done felt if I had orange felt, but it turns out I didn't. I have every other like color under the sun, in case you're wondering, but definitely I did not have orange. So I went with the intention of buying felt, and then I came across this craft fabric, and I just love it because it was like totally sitting in like the fall area. So they had all these faux leaves and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect kind of vibe. I think I want to do the more orangey one today, and I'm going to save this for another project. And I didn't know how much I would need, so I picked up like 700 of these. I think I have 4 rolls of each color, and I'm pretty sure I won't need more than 1, maybe 2 for this project. So let's see. Because it says, oh, I just destroyed this. How am I supposed to tell you what it says? 18 by 21 inches. And what did I say this was? This was 17 and a half by 14 inches. Oh, so ones should be enough. It's a good thing I bought 700 of them. Oh, man, this is so enough. Isn't that going to look so cool? Yeah, buddy. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do... I mean, technically, what I could do is just cut it out again, like trace it onto here and cut it out. But I think I'm going to glue it on first, and then I'm going to cut it. Yeah, that's great. That's plenty. So maybe I'll rough cut it now. Okay, that's enough up there. Over here. So let me cut on this blue line right here. This is the one. This doesn't need to be a beautiful cut. I'm just rough cutting it because this won't be seen. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how many of these I bought for this. But it always comes back to like this fear of running out of something in the middle of a live stream and be so upset. And then I have to like figure out how to work around it. And it's like, no, I'll just buy 2. All right. So I'm going to just use, now you have options when it comes to how you want to glue this down. You could use a fabric glue, which would work really well, I'm sure. You could also use Mod Podge, would probably work really well. I'm going to go old school, and I'm using some Elmer's washable clear glue. I find this stuff really useful for these types of projects. And I find that it does cling on really well, but doesn't necessarily soak through, especially if you do what I'm going to be doing, which is I'm going to try to kind of spread it out with this silicone thingamabob. I guess it's a brush. And we're going to see the thing, again, remembering that this stuff dries faster than you'd think. Well, you're not going to come out quickly either, hey? Especially when you spread it out like this. So we're going to see how that works. If that works. Now move down. I feel you sticky. Ew, ew, ew. Okay, I made it just... Okay, we're going to keep going like that, and we'll see if it stays after a few minutes, and if it doesn't, then I'll try something different. Now, obviously, you could use your hot glue gun for this, but I find it really hard to work with a glue gun in this kind of project because you end up cooking your fabric, and it's really hard to do this, what I'm doing now, this spread out, because your hand's going to burn. And I mean, this doesn't need to be like locked in. It just needs to stick on. It's not... you know, it's not like this is a safe. I don't know why a safe. I couldn't tell you. And then we'll probably come back and do the edges a little bit. Oh, 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 oh. I feel like I have like, I don't know if you guys did this when you were kids, but when I was a kid, many, many, many moons ago in the 80s, we used to put this, but not this one, the paste kind of color, like the white one. You put it on your hands and let it dry and thin it out and then peel it like skin. Like fake gloves. I remember doing that a lot as a kid. I mean, we didn't have anything fun to play with, guys. We had to like play with the stuff that was around us. We spent hours playing with string. Oh my God, that is so 100% true. I even remember it very well. I mean, you could argue that's what's made me very creative, right? Like, we definitely had to find ways to amuse ourselves as children when we didn't have any toys. And I dare you to go tell your parents you're bored. See what happens to you. Okay, I think, let me just rub this off my hands. I think we'll see on this side. If it sticks here, okay, we're good. So I'm going to give this a couple seconds to like dry a bit more. And then I'm going to cut around the edges as softly and cleanly as possible. I don't know what softly means when it comes to cutting, so I don't know what that word was about, but I'm going to try to do this as cleanly as possible. I need a Kleenex. My hands are covered in the glue. Okay. So if any of you have toddlers at home and you think, wow, they get glue everywhere when they craft. I'm in my late 40s and glue everywhere. Okay. So it's not their fault. Let's go ahead and now, do I want to fold over as opposed to cut? Oh no, there's an idea, which I wish I'd thought of sooner because I would have given myself a little bit more room. I think I like that idea, actually. Instead of cutting it, I'm going to fold over. Yeah, that's the plan now. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to give this a few seconds to dry a bit more because I'm going to flip it over now and now put glue on the back as well. But it feels, oh yeah, it's adhered, so we're good. All right, let's do that then. I'm going to just start pulling. Now back here, I'm not going to even smooth out my glue because I won't need to. You don't need to, it doesn't matter if you can see that it's chunky. Yeah, I like that because then you don't see the edges of the foam. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that in the first place, but hey, better late than never. There's a reason why those common sayings exist. Cause it's true. I'm going to have to fold this a little bit. It's a lot of curves, so we're going to be doing a lot of folds to make that work. I could actually cut this just to make it less voluminous, but I think it's fine. We'll just put a little drop of glue here. Good. Another drop right there. Awesome. Yeah, that's really simple, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong. It feels like it stays tacky longer than the hot glue does, which I guess makes sense. So you might have to have just a little extra patience to make sure it adheres well before you move on. This spot's going to be funky right here. this curve. We'll just keep folding. And then a little drop of glue under each of the folds. It does pretty well. How about you? You need a little bit. Oh. All right. We are rocking and rolling over here. I always find like these curves can be tricky. And it took me a long time to figure out why I found them so tricky. And I realized it's because I wanted it to be perfectly smooth without doing anything special to it. Like, for example, these folds that we're doing right now. To me, this is a normal part of crafting now. Anytime I'm doing something that requires a curve and it needs to flatten out, you're making pleats basically. But I didn't know that when I first started doing stuff like this. So I would get all bent out of shape because I couldn't make it flat. And I didn't know what to do to fix it. So I like to always point these things out when I'm doing a live stream or even some of the videos that are more edited. I try to point out all the things that I didn't know when I started crafting that I wish someone had mentioned, because maybe somebody else feels the same way and I just happened to mention the thing they were wondering about. So if it's helpful, it's worth mentioning. If it's not helpful, well, I'm probably going to say it anyway. All right. We're doing well over here. Although you seem to be scooting out of here for some reason. Let me move this stuff a little bit. It's really easy for my craft area to get really crazy out of control. So we got to be careful. You know what? I think I will cut this piece. Where's my scissors? Come back. That's good. You fold. And you too. There you go. Lots of glue on my fingers. This is another reason why it's so much easier to use this kind of glue versus hot glue. I don't have to worry about burning myself or wearing finger protectors or anything. You're just going to get a little bit on your hands and rub it off and you're good to go. And hopefully this will adhere well enough. It doesn't come apart. This is going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to have to cut this. Yeah, I'm going to cut this. Maybe I'll come back to this side. And we'll start on the bottom instead. I think I might do that. Let's see how it's going. Very good. Awesome. So like I said, I wish I had thought of this sooner, so I'd left myself a little bit more material when I cut off the excess. Had I thought of it sooner, I would have done so. So if you're going to replicate this at home, then plan to wrap your base and know that you're going to need a little bit of extra real estate. But it's all good. We'll make it work. I have to put a little bit of glue there. You're sticking up. All right. Yeah, I should cut that off too. So maybe later I might come back and make sure that all of these little pieces are staying, because there's a lot of glue happening right now. And I'm not really being vigilant to make sure things are staying down. I might come back and have a look after. Is this going to make or break the wreath? No. It's more about just, you know, making sure nothing pops off that we don't want popping off. Okay. I wonder if like a traditional glue stick would work on this, because this isn't thick material. Like, this is material that's made for crafting. It's not designed to be super duper thick. So I wonder. Okay. It's very sticky. I think the trick when you're working on angle or curves like this is to just do a little bit at a time. Like, you kind of can't help but feel the need to like rush it along, but you're not going to get where you want to go if you do that. You're better off doing a little bit at a time, and then you're going to get really clean edges and lines. It's really all over my hands now. Oh well. As long as I don't get stuck to anything, it's fine. There was already some glue here. Right, so this kind of glue, it does definitely stay tacky longer. It takes longer for it to dry than it would if you were using like hot glue. Where are you scooting to? Can you come back here? You know, I just realized I could have been using that silicone brush thing instead of my fingers so that it wouldn't be this sticky. But where's the fun in that? You know? Okay. We got this under control. Another little fold over here, I think, is in order. So let's do okay. We're going to do our little fold over here. Fold over, bro. Okay. I'm going to have to glue this down a bit. I don't even know how I could put more glue on this section. I feel like there's a ton of glue right here. So just stay down. And yet I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. That should do it. That should do it. Okay. Another fold right here. We're going to cut this edge off a bit too. That's good. Okay, fold right there. I'll come back for you, flap. I shall return. It's nice that it makes its own flaps. And you just got to go with the flow. So anytime I think of something that I'm reminding myself in my head, I try to always say it out loud because, you know, you can't hear what's going on inside my head. God, I hope not. So the first thing I was thinking right now, and what made me say that, is that I don't want to get too focused on trying to make this back part look good at the expense of the front not looking the way we want it to. So this is why I've got to keep track of what you're doing. It's easy to get like a little a little focused elsewhere. Like I'm all concerned about these flaps when I should be getting concerned that this is pulled taut enough. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm not going to think about the flaps, but just a little reminder to me. That's not the top priority right now. This is going to be a challenge. Now, if it doesn't work out well, that's okay. I can always cut it because we are going to cover it with the edge of the stem. Like the actual stem of the base is going to get covered. What can I weight that with? I'm going to have glue all over this desk today. All right. We're in the home stretch. Okay. I got to get some of this glue off my hands because it's starting to interfere with what I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to have to give this a little slit. Hopefully that'll be enough. We'll see. I think it's possible that it will be. So we're going to focus on this section right here. I have to cut it a little more. You're still... I need a paper towel or something. Come here, paper towel. It's too gluey over here. And it's getting stuck on my hand. Yeah, see that? Okay. Much better. Now, this is not going to fold properly unless I cut it just a wee bit more. That should do really well. Okay. Oh, see? Glue. It's getting stuck to me. All right. Meow. I'm going to try doing this one corner at a time. Nice. Oh, a little more, please. is still a bit wet. Certain spots are still. So it's going to take a bit longer for this glue to dry, but it seems to be adhering really well. So as long as it stays in place, it's all good. Look at this string. Beep. Okay, let's. Okay, this is going to be messy. Because, you know, everything else has been not messy. Okay. All right. That seems to be staying pretty well. Oh, not you. You don't want to stay, huh? Just add a little bit more up here. That'll help you stay. And we're going to do a little bit right in there. Come back here. Keep scooting away. Okay. I think we are in some really good shape over here. So let's go ahead and add those little drops where we need them to keep the flaps in place. This is totally unnecessary. It's just because I'm a weirdo. You can skip this step. Or you can be a weirdo with me. I mean, whatever. I think it's kind of cool, personally. Okay. I think I may have already tried to glue these ones down and they're just rebellious. Shall we flip it over and see how we did? See if I can get all this glue off my hands in a few seconds. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know this must be boring to watch, but I can't live like this. Let me live. This glue is annoying. All right. That's good enough. There's only so much time I'm willing to waste on that. So let's flip this guy over and see how we did. Not bad. Not bad at all. I can see some of the glue seeping through a little bit, but that's just because this is that wet glue. It's going to take a little time, but I think it's going to dry really well. That's one of the reasons why I made sure to use my clear glue as opposed to like regular paste. Okay. So now that we have this guy ready, I'm going to set it off to the side and let it dry a little bit. And we are going to continue adding the jute cord or rope rather. There's glue all in between all of these little spider webs. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and continue wrapping the edges of this with this jute cord. I think we're going to start right there. Makes the most sense to me. And we're going to try. Hold on. Let me think. Because now that we have these here, I don't want this to get in the way. So I might have to lift a couple of these out of here. And we want to make sure that, again, we're covering the wire. Yeah, I might have to trim you. Why are you so long? All the other ones are the right size. Okay. All right, we'll see if that worked. Ugh. This jute has flyaways that can be quite annoying and really irritate your nasal passages. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I think that'll work okay. I'm going to have to do it a little bit at a time and make sure that it really adheres so that we're not losing out on covering it up really well. Okay, I still got quite a bit of battery left. Oh, wait, let me get my finger protectors out, because I can see this being very ouchy. All right. Maybe I should go this way. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Okay, let's get started. We're going to do the exact same thing we did to, oh, you're already being rude. I'm not going to be too worried about this area here because we're probably going to wrap it completely in this rope at the end anyway for the stem. But it's too bad it's so chunky. Are we covered well? I think so. All right, let's keep going. I'm basically just going to go rib to rib, most likely. So that I'm sure that it's covered. Like that. Oh, I got some glue on my table there. That's a for sure. Let's see, how does this look on the front? I'm debating if I would do it this way again in the future. I feel like it's going okay, like it's staying, but I'm kind of seeing like little lumps because of where, even though I did cut the ropes early, apparently not early enough. So maybe next time if I did this jute rope again, which I think I would because I really like the way this looks, I would probably do the outer part first and then go in and do the boning in the center, like the seams. All right. See what I mean? How it has like that little. So I might see if I can fix that. If it bugs me after I'm done, we'll see. I probably won't even notice it, but I'm noticing it now. So it's worth making note of. If you're just joining us, I mentioned earlier in the live stream that this is my first time ever working with a pumpkin frame like this. So I am kind of troubleshooting as I go and trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Probably would have been smart of me to watch somebody else's tutorial first. But I actually try not to do that if I can avoid it. I like trying to like figure things out and show you the real process instead of, you know, kind of maybe perfecting it ahead of time. Because you're only a beginner at something for so long, right? And I didn't want to master it and then be like, hey, let me show you. I like showing you the first time I do something because, you know, sometimes it goes really well, sometimes not so much. I think that looks great. I'm very pleased with that. Let's keep going. You know what? I find it's easier if it's up on my finger a bit. Yeah, that looks great. I think this is going to look so cool. And then we're going to decide if we're going to do, now I have some different things off to the side over here. Like I have ribbon that I had set aside to maybe do like a messy bow. And I have some like pumpkins and some fall leaves and some, you know, acorns and stuff like that. Like all the fall things. And we're going to do a little bit of that around the stem, I think. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I definitely have them. This side seems like I cut them shorter, so it's easier. Okay, so yeah, I would say next time I do this, if I use jute again, or anything really, I'd probably do the outer frame first and then come back and do the spokes afterward. Or you really got to gauge how much thickness the material you're using. So in this case, it's the jute rope is going to actually cover so that you can cut your ribs short enough that then this kind of fills the gap without popping out. After I'm done this live stream, I'm going to make some notes because I actually do that. And sometimes, especially if I'm doing something for the first time. So like today, this is my first time doing this. I will come back to this video the next time I'm going to use this frame, and I'll watch this stream and see what I said I would do different next time. And then I'll do it differently. I actually do try to listen to myself and take my own advice whenever possible. Because I'll tell you why. My voice is pretty good. Just saying. Okay. I'll chew my little horn. I'm going to need to trim this just a tiny bit. It's a little too long and it's going to interfere. And I'm a little concerned because it's really frayed down here at the end. So it's going to be a challenge. Oh, I'm using the wrong scissors too. So that's definitely going to be a challenge. Let's see. How'd you do? All right. A little bit more here. Okay. And now I'm going to actually, should I glue this first? Yeah. I'm going to glue down the trim first, and I'm going to come back and add a little bit of glue just under that, just to make sure it sits flat. Okay. Believe it or not, it's also really challenging to actually stay right on the wire and do this correctly. It's a challenge. But we got it going on. We got it going on. I'll come back to you after. How are you guys? You could use a trim. You're all right. Let's give you a little trim. Just a tiny bit. It's glued on pretty well. It's just that it's overhanging the bottom here. So hopefully that little trim will do what we needed it to do. So now the struggle when you're using a rope like this is that once you start cutting things, if you don't somehow seal it, it can start coming apart and fraying, which it is doing on the end of this one. So we're going to have to try and see if we can make it a bit less rowdy. Okay. I think it should be fine. I'll just put a little bit of glue down there. Oh, you're going to drip. I know. I can tell. Okay, fine. Go. Fine. Okay, so this bit of twine needs to go like that. And I'm going to go right over it and kind of hold down that frayed part. I think that's my best bet here. So I put glue right on the cord for this one so that I can kind of overlap it a bit like that. That's good. I'm going to be fighting with this glue all day. All day. All right. We're in the home stretch over here. Okay. Yeah, I think I will do that. But then, see, I wonder if that would make it even harder to then do the spokes, right? Because how do you cut it close? Well, I guess that's the challenge. We'll have to see. Okay. You know, just a reminder, just like pot holders and, you know, like oven mitts and stuff, you think that these are going to be amazing against the temperature at all times, but eventually some of the heat will come through. So if you're sitting with your hand directly in like hot glue, you'll feel it eventually. It does seep through a little bit. So that's why you'll notice a lot of times I kind of dance my fingers around even when I'm wearing the finger protectors, just to, you know, be a princess and not burn myself. Okay. Yeah, this side, I've got a couple that are going to need a cut. Definitely you. That's good. How about you? Well, I'll never be a hairdresser, that's for sure. Not unless you want to get savaged. Yeah, that's going to need a little bit more. Are you okay? I think so. That's better. Much better. I'm going to scoot you out of here. Okay. You're ready to drip, I can tell. Keep it together. All right. Man, this is turning out so pretty. I really like the rustic vibe. I'm a big fan. I do a lot of things with burlap and jute because there's just something cozy about those materials, you know, like that rough and rugged kind of vibe. Should I cut it now or should I wait till I get closer? I think I'm going to cut it now. Nah, you know what? Maybe I won't. Because I'd rather just cut it once so that it doesn't fray as much. So this is going to be one of those spots where you got to be really patient. I'm going to put this hot glue down. And we are going to glue this down and hope that it stays really well when I go to cut it. Okay. I don't think I'm going to need you guys for a bit. We'll see. That one's got a big drip of glue on it, so I'm not going to mess with that. Okay, I'm going to try cutting it. Not bad. Not bad at all. I am pleased with that. All right. We are coming up on the home stretch. You started to come off. Why? What's your problem? You don't want to stay down. I think this is where the top of this was tucked in. And so it's got a natural bend to it, which is kind of making it resistant to stay on here. But I'm a stubborn gal, and I will get you. I will get you. Mwah. All right. Now let's see what we're going to do about the stem. Do we do that first or do we add the back first? I think we should do the stem first. Wow, I'm going to spend so much time after this live stream just cleaning my nails with all this glue. It's something. All right, let's look at this. That came out great. That came out really great. I'm going to move this a tiny bit so that we're completely covering that frame. You might have to add a little bit of glue here. We'll see. All right. This is beautiful. This turned out really, really great. So let's see. What do we want to do? Am I going to wrap it? So I have this, obviously, the thick one we have. I also have this one, which is the cord that I use a lot of. But it's so much thinner that I don't know if that's going to make it look better or worse. So let's say we glue it from here. Okay. So one more on top. That looks good. I like it with the big. Let's see if we like it better with the small. That's interesting. I thought I was going to really hate it with the small jute cord in place, but I kind of like it. It's definitely a lot easier to wrap with this small jute cord instead of having to use the rope. So there's a benefit that should not be ignored. Oh, I don't know. I kind of like this. Let's go a little bit further and then we'll turn it and decide. Okay. What's better? I think the thicker one's better, although this really does look good. So if I had to do this, I wouldn't feel bad about it. But I'm leaning towards using the thicker rope. So let's do that. So let's unwrap you. Although I am going to use this later to hang this with. So thanks for coming out. Okay. I won't need a lot. How do I start it? Maybe what I'll do is I'll glue it to the back of that. There'll be a gap though if I do that. Maybe I put it here so that it starts. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to do a drop of glue under each of these. Drop there and a drop there, I think. And we'll put this down on top of it. Yeah, I'm going to try to tuck it into that little V. And I'm probably going to glue it to itself so that it kind of stays in there. Like right there. Anytime you're using something thick like this and you're just using a little bit of glue to keep it in place, you really do want to make sure it adheres really well before you move on. Or else it's going to pop off and come apart on you. I'm not planning on putting glue on every row. I think it should stay. Yeah, as long as I push down, it's staying really well. Okay, so this is where we're going to start putting some glue. I should put my finger protectors on because I smell danger. So I'm going to put some on the front of the stem so that now this wrap is in glue. Can I do one more wrap? Yeah, maybe. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I am going to cut this and stick it to the back. This piece of glue. I'm going to cut this right here. You're not even pretending to cut, huh? Okay, that's good. And now we'll put one piece across the top of it. So I'll make sure this is pushed down really well. Okay. Now I'm thinking we'll put apologies. That was my phone going ape shit. There's an emergency alert going on. Hopefully everybody's okay. But I'm going to say that that gave me a bit of a little heart attack. It was unexpected. I'm going to try to tuck this in here and see if I can make this look good. So I want to cover this end, but I don't want it sticking out. How do I do that? Let me think. Maybe I could put it from the back. Because you're going to see it. The ends are going to be too rough, you know? How do I want to cover you? Really, I just need to have a piece that will tuck in. Let's try it. Let's see. Let's see if I can just... We're going to see. We're going to see what happens. It's a mystery. Usually those emergency alerts don't happen just once. I suspect we're going to get a couple more happening. So a little heads up and warning. That'll do. I'll just trim off the end a little bit so that you can't see it. I'll give that a couple more seconds to it here before I start trimming off the end because I don't want to like rip it off by accident. I think you're pretty dry. That's good. Seriously, like trimming hair. All right. We are rocking and rolling. I don't think I'm going to need this rope anymore. So I'm going to move this off to the side. We've got one more step to finish the back. And then we're going to start just decorating it if we want to decorate it. So let me just clean off my tabletop because this jute cord really does drop a lot of like threads and particles and fur and stuff. So a little tidy up is warranted. All right, so let's bring the back out, which is still a little wet. Not too bad, but still a little wet. All right. Oh man, doesn't that look so cool? Oh, that is so pretty. This is going to be great. Okay, now, how are we going to do this? Am I going to put glue on the edge and put it down? Or am I going to put glue on the pumpkin and put it down? I think putting glue on the pumpkin... Okay, let me think this through. Let's think about this. If we put the glue on the frame... We have the same problem we had before, which is it's going to be such a thin line of glue, it's going to dry and drip. Whereas if we do it on the edge of the styrofoam, it's still going to be a thin line, but we have a little bit more, I think, opportunity. This is going to be interesting because I can't do it half at a time. All right, so we're just going to try to be fast. That's the plan. I'm going to just try to outline the entire thing in hot glue and hope that it doesn't dry right away. Let's hope that works. Let's see. Quick like a bunny. Oh, I'm missing it. I'm missing it. I'm missing it. I'm missing it. Oh, that hurt. She got me. She got me good. I don't know. It feels like it's on it. It feels like it's not on it. Okay, so something I would change in the future is I would definitely cut the foam a little bit bigger. I feel like I undercut it a bit. Now, you can't really see it. It's kind of sitting on it. It's kind of not sitting on it. But enough of it is glued down that I don't think this is going to be a problem. Oh, that looks so cool. But I think, again, another thing I would do different in the future is I would probably go over a bit and maybe cut it down. But see, then you can't do that over flip that we did with the material. So maybe you just assume that it's going to be a little bit bigger. Because if not, it's really hard for it to stick. Like, it's sticking because enough of it is stuck down that it's holding on. But interesting. Okay. Well, we are in good shape. It's holding on really well. So it's time to decorate. We are in the home stretch. We're almost done. Now, the question is going to be, should we put a bow here? Or should we put, like leaves? I have this piece of felt that we could do leaves and then tie a little bit of straw. That would be like a really like simple, you know what? I actually really burned my finger. See? I was just talking about being careful because of that. Oh, well, what are you going to do? I'm thinking, should we do the bow or not? You know what? Let's make it. And then once we have it made, we can decide if we want to use it or not. Because I end up doing that a lot. Sometimes you just don't know if you want to use it until it's made. So I'm going to grab all of that ribbon out that we had out at the beginning. There are 7 different types, if I'm not mistaken. And they are different widths, some with wire, some without. And before we start, let's talk a little bit about this bow. This is called the messy bow. That's what I call it, the messy bow. I can see that my camera's a little bit blurry. That bugs me, but there's nothing I can do about it. So my apologies. What this says is for the main part of the bow, we need 7 pieces of ribbon because I have 7 ribbons. And I'm going to cut 1 piece of each. And they're all going to be about 7 inches in length. And then for the center knot, we're going to cut 1 additional piece of only one of these ribbons to about 3 or 4 inches just to kind of cover the knot. Now, for this particular messy bow, we might not really need the knot because I might put something in the center. But we're going to try anyway. We'll see how it turns out. So do I have all of my ribbon here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. So 7 inches of each. Now, if we're a little short, it's not the end of the world, but it would be better if they're all the same. There's 7. I'm going to be dovetailing the ends of my ribbon because I love the way a dovetail looks. That's 7 right now. Some of these have a wire. This one doesn't. I don't know if you're going to have, if I have enough on this roll. This is the only one that has like an actual Thanksgiving pattern. Ooh, I have just enough of you. Ha ha ha. I love it. It's one of those things where, you know, when you keep things saying, oh, well, maybe I can use it for another project, and then you never actually end up using it for the other project. So when it actually does happen, it's like, yay! Okay, we've got this large green. I'm not going to use this fold over part because I find it annoying. I wish they wouldn't do that. I know why they do it, but I wish they wouldn't because it's just a waste. I'll cut it when I cut it after. Then we have a really skinny green and it's kind of see-through, which is really cute. I honestly don't think I ever used this ribbon before. Sometimes you buy something thinking it's going to look one way for a specific project, and then it doesn't look that way. And then you have to leave it for the next project. This is one of those moments. I bought this green ribbon for something totally different. I don't even remember what I bought it for. That's how long ago it was. So you can see I'm aiming for 7 inches, but I'm not stressing about, is it perfect? Is it not perfect? Is it just under, just over? Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. We just want it to be close so that they're not one that's really long and the others that are short. This is another one. Yay. I love when I can use the last scraps of something. That's one of the reasons why this bow is so fun, this messy bow. First of all, because it's really, really simple and easy to do, but also because it literally lets you use scraps of ribbon that you have like from other projects or whatever for this one. That was a struggle. Okay. This is the tiniest ribbon you ever did see. I don't know how I'm going to dovetail this, but I will. All right. So now we've got one of each ribbon cut to just about 7 inches, roughly. And we're going to go ahead and dovetail each of these ends. You don't need to do this, but this is my personal preference. I like the way a dovetail looks. And the way you do that is you're going to fold it end to end with the ends facing you. And then you're going to cut, and at whatever angle you cut it at is how deep the V of your dovetail will be. So I like to have a nice deep V for mine. So I make sure to go at a deep angle like that. And we get that really beautiful V like that. Beautiful, isn't it? I love it. It looks so nice and like finished. Now, if you're not loving the dovetail, you can cut at an angle, or you can just do a straight cut on the edge. If that feels good to you, by all means, do you. But I definitely love me a little dovetail. I actually need to do at least one bow that doesn't have a dovetail, because I feel like I've literally done every single bow with a dovetail. Eval. This is the tiniest little thing. Can I make you happen? Boop. Yeah! It's the tiniest little V in the whole world. It's a little baby V. Almost can't. Yeah. Woo! That's lucky. So, of course, the longer you cut your ribbon, the longer your messy bow is going to be. So I'm just cutting off that extra piece. And then we're going to dovetail you. And since everything is going to be stacked one on top of the other, you're only going to get a peek of each of the ribbons, except for the ones that are right on top. And we haven't decided yet which is going to be the one that we wrap around the center of the bow. We can decide that at the end, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be that one. Now, this is a patterned ribbon, as you can see. And as a lot of ribbons or patterned ribbons are, this is a single-sided. So it has a good side and a bad side. So this is the good side. You can see how nice and vibrant the colors are. And then you've got the bad side that is not vibrant. I mean, you can still see the pattern, but it's just definitely not as bright as this. So you always want to keep track of where your good side is. For this particular bow, we're working on it face up. So we're going to have it face up. Usually, though, you're going to have it face down when you want it to be on the outside of your bow. You just always want to keep track of it. Where is it and how will it look in the type of bow you're making? And like I said, this one is like a stack right on top of each other kind of bow. It's so simple. When I saw this one somewhere, I was like, oh, this is a bow I'm going to be making a lot of. And I just haven't. And recently I stumbled back into it. And I'm like, the messy bow is for me. All right. We've got all of our dovetails cut. Let's get you guys out of here. Ski-daddle. Thank you. And now we're going to decide how we are going to stack. So obviously we're going to do biggest ones on the back. So I'm going to start with green. And we're going to do orange. And we're just crisscrossing. And then this guy in the center, because it's our only pattern. Then what are we going to do on top? Well, this guy. And then you. Hey, 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 hey. and then yellow, and then the skinny orange on top. All right. So now what we need is, you can use a piece of jute cord if you want. You can use a zip tie. I'm going to use a small pipe cleaner. And all we're going to do is grab it at the center here and kind of scrunch like that. You see how I'm holding it? And I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, bend it in the center, and we're going to put that pipe cleaner right there in the middle. And if you're not sure if you're in the middle, an easy trick is to fold it up like a flower. So like this, and you can see if they're even or if one side's a little bit bigger than the other. And we're just going to twist at the back a couple times. And now we spread all of these ribbons out so that you can see a little bit of everything. Beautiful. Now, in the center, we are going to wrap something over this pipe cleaner. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. Now, normally I would use a piece of ribbon, so I think I am going to do that today. We have to decide what color. I'm actually thinking maybe this yellow would be good, not to have too much green. If this wasn't sheer, I might use this. Did I say green? I don't want too much orange because there's quite a lot of orange back to back here. This one with the design, if we were to fold, this is that piece I have left. If I were to fold it, what can you see? Well, you can kind of see the pumpkin, but you wouldn't know it's a pumpkin because once you wrap it, so you won't know. This is why I don't usually use the pattern for the center portion. It's more about what color do you want to see. Or another option is to use jute cord, and you can like wrap it around several times. I don't want to do that because we have a lot of jute going on. So I think we're going to go and try this yellow and see what we think of it. A really small piece. We don't need much at all. I think on my breakdown, I said 3 to 4 inches. You know what? I needed more than that, than what I cut. That was silly, Mary. See, I said 3 to 4. And you're going to have a little bit left, but better to have a bit left than to be short because now that piece is garbage. So, you know. You live, you learn. Okay. So this is all ribbon you can get at your local dollar store. I also get ribbon at places like Michael's Canada. I've gotten ribbon at Walmart. Lots of places. And we're just going to wrap that around. Now, if you were going to use your pipe cleaners to attach to your wreath, it would have been better if I used a longer pipe cleaner. But I'm not intending to actually tie it on. I'm thinking I'm going to glue it on, so I don't really care how short they are. But keep in mind, pipe cleaners are pipe cleaners, so you can always add a pipe cleaner to it if you need to extend it. I've done that more than once. But for today, we're going to pretend we don't need them. I'm going to just put a drop of glue right on top of our pipe cleaner end. And we are going to tappity tap you. Give that a second to kind of adhere a bit. And then we're going to do the exact same thing, same spot. And go ahead and wrap that over. It's such a simple way to give it a really finished and polished look, having that one little piece of ribbon wrapped around the center. Now, I luckily had these thin, skinny ribbons, but if not, as you saw with that piece of the patterned one, I would have just folded it over in the center. So let me show you. If you don't have any of these skinny ones and you want to put something in the center, you'll just take your big one and put a line of glue down the center and just fold over so that you've got yourself a nice skinny ribbon that you can use in the center. Okay. If you don't have one of these. Now, this still needs to dry a little bit, but it's enough that I can, hey, see? It still needs to dry. That's funny. But let's flip it over so we can see what our finalized messy bow looks like. It's a lot of yellow. Well, I can't say it's my favorite bow that I've ever made. It's a lot more orange at the front than I had expected. But that's okay. If I don't like it, I won't put it on. But a very easy bow to make, regardless of if you're loving it or hating this particular one. You can see. Now, if you find, maybe in the future, I might make my thicker ones, these ones in the back, I might make them just a little bit longer so they kind of hang out a little bit more. But I just love this like stacked look. And it's a great way to use a lot of seasonal ribbons or a bunch of like little pieces that you have hanging around. Super simple way to use them really effectively. All right, let's see. Oh, that looks really cute. It would have probably been better if I'd made this a little bit longer. It would be easier to glue it down, but I am okay with that because I think that looks really good. And I definitely want to have some of that stock sticking out. So that's really cute. Okay, so let's say we put that there. What else are we going to do? Now, I could, like I said, I could cut out like a leaf, but I'm not really feeling the leaf. I have a bit of straw, which I've never actually used before, but I feel like that would look really cute. So let's see. I bought this straw at Michael's because I think I was going to use it as like a basket filler. And then I realized how freaking little there was in here. Oh, you're not going to. Okay. So let's see. Let's see if we can make a really big mess. So where would this go and how would this go? You know what? I'm not feeling this at all. Maybe a little bit on top. No, that's stupid. Yeah, I'm thinking no straw. We're going to be straw free. All right. Everybody get out. Well, you made a big mess for literally no reason. But this is actually always part of the process that I like to show when I'm doing a project live, at least. When I don't do them live, then I don't show all this detail. But I definitely try different things because I have a plan when I start. I have an idea. You know, you have all these materials and they all kind of look like they all go together. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do this for the back and this for the front and blah, 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 blah. But then when you're actually putting it together, you know, you might have a different vibe and you want to do something totally different. So I always give myself multiple options so that I can try different things and see what blows my hair back. So I'm going to for sure glue this down here. I do like the way that looks. Now I have some fall stuff. We've got some of these. I got a few of these. I don't know that I want to put leaves. I feel like it's going to compete with the bow. So no leaves. I have a tiny pumpkin. Okay. What else we got? I've also got, like I said, some flowers. I got these little sunflowers that I think will be cute. Got some acorns and stuff. I feel like I don't want to go crazy over here. You know what I mean? I'm liking this just the way it is. I might not even add anything. Oh, maybe some of these guys. Some of these, what is this? Well, they just call this a bush, right? Bouquet, pardonnez-moi, en français. Something like this might look cute if we like tucked it. That kind of looks like a middle finger. Okay, hold on. Let's take Well, there's these berry things. Let's see. Do we like the berry things? I'm going to try them both. You too. Come off here. Okay. All right. We've got some of that. I'm thinking maybe a sunflower might look really nice on here. I've got a big sunflower, but I've also got little ones. I think I even have daisies, but I'm not feeling a daisy on this palette. How many of these little guys do I have? I have another bunch somewhere, but I like to use my bag of flowers whenever possible. All right, let's see what we make out of this. What are we going to make out of this? Let's see. Okay, so we glue our bow right here in the center. Okay. Then what? Sunflower? That kind of looks like a cyclops to me. I don't know why. Okay, maybe not a big sunflower. Maybe we do a little sunflower instead. Like this. Maybe we do a trio. I kind of like that. Now I wish that my messy bow was longer. Right? It looks a little short, doesn't it? Should we make another one? I mean, I have the ribbon. Because I do like the way this looks. And then maybe we can put some of these things tucked in. I don't like the big one because I feel like it looks like, seriously, like the Cyclops. What about these little guys? Maybe we do a pumpkin instead? Or do I make a bigger bow? I'm leaning towards making the bigger bow. Where does this go? I guess I could tuck it somewhere here. Okay, I'm going to put you to the side. I think I'm going to make another bow. So these are 7 inches. So let's say we wanted to add another 3 inches. So a half an inch on each side. That would be 10 inches. Maybe we do 12. 12 will make it out to here. I think that'd be good. Let's try it. We've got nothing to lose. So let's put this off to the side. And we're going to make another messy bow. But we're going to make it longer this time. Because that's how I roll. Okay, so let's get these out here. And you know what? Maybe I will actually use a long pipe cleaner this time so that I can tie it around the back. Just one, please. Merci. All right, so let's do, what did I say? 10 or 12? 12, I think I said. 12 inches. That's 5 inches more, so 2.5 on either side. I think that'd be good. Okay. Do I have all of you guys? You. Where are all your friends? You. And I finished 2 of them, but don't worry because I have a backup of each. I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I definitely want to remind you anytime I remind myself that if you're buying a specialty ribbon at something like the dollar store, so a ribbon like this, I highly recommend you pick up 2 or 3 anytime you get something so that you don't end up in this position where you're struggling because you've run out and there's nothing you can do about it. It's definitely happened to me before, so I always make sure that I have more than I need. All right, so we're going to basically do the length of this ruler for all of these. So I've definitely done this before where I've made a bow and I didn't like it and then I did something else. I've also made bows that the bow itself was gorgeous and it came out really great. But then when I put it on the project I was making, it just didn't vibe for me and then I didn't use the bow. So I've done that more than once. And I find that giving yourself permission to not like what your original plan was is very freeing because, you know, sometimes we bully ourselves into something because it was the plan. Well, the plans have changed. So I'm also thinking about this tiny one because now that I'm looking at this, do I want that tiny one in there? I feel like it's too much orange. So I don't think I'm going to use this tiny orange. I think we're going to skip you, friend. Okay. So now we've got all of these, except for you. Sorry about that. Nothing personal. Well, actually, it's very personal because you're too much. You're too much. So the other thing to consider if you're dovetailing your ends like I am right now is that it visually takes off some length. It doesn't actually, because obviously the ends are still the same length as they ever were, but that V makes it seem like you've lost that length. So keep that in mind. Oh, this is that one that they had folded over. All right. Okay, we're just over 2 hours into doing this. We would have been done by now if I was happy with my first bundle bow. Are you fold over? Yeah, you are. But that's okay. It's not going to take long. This ribbon is so unexpected. It's sheer, but it doesn't have that organza feel to it. It's more like a really thin linen almost. Now, we used the yellow to wrap the center last time, but obviously you're not going to be able to see it much. So do we want to even bother? And the answer is yes for me, only because I'm not sure what will be visible around the sides of it. So I will complete the bow anyway. Whether you can see that center piece or not is not my concern. All right, so we're going to do crisscross again. So crisscross, green on the bottom, orange on top. That's good. Then we're going to do this one in the center. I like it better this way. Again, remember we talked about good side, bad side. So the bad side's less vibrant, good side's more vibrant. So this is my good side, and I'm going to make sure it stays up because this is the front of my bow. And then in terms of size, we've got this one is the thinner of, or the thicker of the remaining few. Okay, beauty. So now I'm going to get my pipe cleaner over here. What we're going to do is then scrunch right up the center like this. So you're holding it in the middle. Okay. And then take that pipe cleaner and bend it in the center. And we're going to thread it through. Now, again, when you want to make sure if you're at the center of your ribbon, you just want to fold it up like a flower. And you can see if they're level with each other. And they seem pretty level to me. So I'm going to leave that alone and just give it a couple of good twists. And then we shall open and spread. That's great. Okay. Now, let's get that final piece. Where do you go? That piece of yellow for the center. You know what I'm thinking? I kind of don't want to do yellow in the center. I kind of want to do this green. Now that I'm looking at it. Where did I throw you? Here you are. So I'll show you how to do it with a thicker piece of ribbon. So again, you want to cut about, I don't know, what is this, like 4 inches? You know what? I'm going to measure it because I'm curious. Yeah, just over 4 inches. Okay. I'm going to need my, so I'm just going to fold one end over like this. And then I'm going to add some glue over top of it from one end to the other. What's going on, glue gun? And then we're going to fold that side over onto our glue. Hey, this is why you have finger protectors on, Mary. Ma. My index finger is like, no, I want to get burned. Burn me, burn me. Well, I've already burnt a finger today, so let's leave it at that, shall we? And there we go. We've got our now appropriately sized centerpiece. I'm going to do the same thing we did last time. However, I am going to be trying to use these pipe cleaners to attach my bow. So what we want to just make sure is that they're spread out flat like that. And then we're going to do the same thing we did before. It's a bit of glue on the outside. And just lay it in the center. And we're going to put a drop of glue right here. Fold that over. Okay. We'll give that a second to grab on. Okay, and then another drop on top. Oh, you know what? My battery's dead. That's why my glue's acting funny. Okay, chill, bro. I'm going to switch you right now. Yeah, okay. I wish it would beep or something. Like, let a girl know. I have like 17 batteries waiting for you. So, just, yeah, it's gotten thick now. So, we'll give it a few seconds to melt a bit more. Okay, and now we're just going to cut off the excess. Now, of course, you could just cut less of this ribbon and not have to do an excess. But I feel like you get a better, where are my other scissors here? You get a better wrap when you're not fighting the material. Okay. So let's flip this over. Yeah, I like the green better, for sure. For sure, that yellow was a bit much. And then we're just going to spread out each of the ribbons so you can see them as much as possible. And we've got ourselves a larger messy bow. Mama and baby. Why are you curling this way? You're going to get on my nerves, huh? I guess so. All right. You want to play? We're going to play. I'm going to roll you and see if that'll work. Okay. Now we've got our longer bow. So we're going to go ahead and tie that on by using the pipe cleaners that we spread out in the back over here. I'm going to just bend them forward a little bit. And I'm going to tie it right around. Now, again, you don't have to do it with the pipe cleaners. You could glue it directly on by the knot. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to give it a tie on instead. A couple of good twists is all you need, and then we can trim this down, which I may or may not. We'll see. Yeah, that's definitely a better length than what we had going on before. Now you can actually see the ribbon kind of spread out everywhere. You should go here. Right? You get a really good view of all of them. Now, I'm going to keep fussing with this ribbon because that's what I do. I have a bit of a ribbon thing. So just spread it out, make sure it looks good, and then walk away if you can. All right. We've got our bow on. Now, let's decide. Are we going to use... Oh, you really are going to keep curling like that, huh? Oh, you're a jerko. Okay. We're going to play a game. It's the who's going to win this game. Okay, so again, I could just leave it like this, which is a possibility. Or we can do the trio of sunflowers in the center and cover up that knot altogether. What do you think? Sunflowers or no sunflowers? We have a little pumpkin. Let me pull this. That's going to end badly. I'm going to cut it. I could have easily pulled this out of the bottom of the pumpkin, but I remember having ripped off the bottom of a pumpkin by doing that in the past, so let's not. Okay, another option. If we don't want to do the sunflowers, well, I kind of do. I think it looks cute. But if we're not feeling the sunflowers, I could do a pumpkin right there. Hey, get back here. No, I'm still feeling the sunflowers. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Should I do the 3 sunflowers or leave the bow just as it is? Because we could just leave the bow as it is. It doesn't need anything else if we don't want to add anything else. Oh, well, that's an interesting idea. Now, that's an interesting idea. Do I have any more? Do I like it in all of the sections? Do we want to put a big one? No, too big. Too big. Okay, everybody speed out. There's too much happening. Get out. Go there. Nah. It felt like a better idea before. What if? How about if it's like right on the end? Then you won't even see it. So no. Do I want just 3? I feel like I kind of liked just the 3. What do you guys think? Do we like the sunflowers or not? Well, definitely not in both areas. Unless I do the big one on top. Where's the big one? This is very floopy. Try to bend it over the other way. Boop, 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 boop. That worked a bit. Surprisingly, I'm kind of liking this, and this was not at all the direction I thought I was going to go in. So that's funny. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this vibe. What do you guys think? Can we fit a pumpkin anywhere? I don't think the pumpkin's necessary because, you know, pumpkin. I just want to make sure that you can still see the stem. That's going to be a challenge because we want to get the flower to be open, but we still want to see the stem of the pumpkin itself. So maybe I can move that down a little bit. This is kind of what I meant about if you don't want to tie it on and you'd rather glue it, we could glue it right in that center down there. Actually, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to untie this. Oh, I just threw those around. I'm going to untie this. And instead of tying it on, I'm going to glue it down right here in that peak. I think that's going to be the way to go. I don't think I'm going to need to wrap. I think I'm going to cut these off because I'm not going to use them now, which is brave because if I change my mind, then I'm screwed. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay. Are you toasty now? I think so. So I'm going to put a generous amount of glue right here in that center peak. And then I'm going to take this bow and I'm going to mash it down right in there. And I'm going to hold tight. Okay. Now let's not forget, we're going to cover this up with the sunflower. So not a lot of stress. I just wanted to make sure that you could still see the stem because that would have bugged me. This is actually staying so quickly. I'm shocked, honestly, because it's in a bad spot because of the boning. All right. So let's go ahead and glue this big one on. Now, anytime I glue a flower down, I always try to cut the little nubbin that's on the back. That's the part that attaches to the stem. You want to cut it as close as you can, but not completely flush. And that's because that stem works with that back piece to keep the flower together. And if you cut too close and they separate, then your literal flower is going to fall apart, which is not fun. Okay, let's see. Well, we definitely want it low because, again, we want to see the stem. I'm going to try to keep these petals open for a few seconds and see what happens. It could help. And then we're going to tuck some of these guys in because I like the way that looks. I'm going to cut this apart, though, I think. Boop, 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 boop. I hope this is working. Yeah, that worked quite a lot, actually. Wonderful. Okay, so again, we're going to tuck it onto the center enough that we can see the top of the stem sticking out. I'm going to go ahead and put glue right on the center of our bow. You know that part that we put on just so it looks pretty? Yeah, let's cover that up right now. With a sunflower. I think that's great. Okay, you're good. Let's go ahead and put these little ones in the bottom here. Same rules apply. Remember, cut close, but not completely flat. And why am I cutting it is because that stem makes it really hard to adhere your sunflower down if it's sticking out like this. If you have something like a bubble wreath or a deco mesh wreath where there's a lot of volume in your base, then it's a lot easier. Okay, so am I going to go right out to the bottom? This is going to be the example one. So right down to the bottom, or so that it opens and you can see. Okay, let's plan. What do we want to do? Do we want to bring the sunflower all the way to the bottom here? Or do we want to scooch it up just a bit so that it's open more? I think the scooch is important. So you can see them better, right? Yeah. Okay. We're going to do that. So a little bit of glue on the back. And try to see if we can get that spot right off the bat, so that we're not scooting around too much. That's great. Okay. Yeah, that's a good spot. That's a good spot. It's awkward. The angle of my camera makes it look like you can't see this one through the two bones, but you can. It's just the way my camera's angled that you can't really see it. So don't worry. All right. So we've got our daisies and our sunflowers in place. We've got our bow in place. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to tuck in a few of these berries into the top, I think. Let me just get all these glue spider webs out of here. I know you can't even see them, so you probably think I'm just playing patty cake. Okay. I think I'm going to split these guys up so that I've got 3 separate ones. And I'm just going to tuck. Yeah, that looks cute. So a quick bit of glue. Always be aware of where you are so that you don't drop that glue somewhere. Okay. And I want to use this big yellow one, maybe up here, right on the top. If I put that up there, and then we could put this one maybe like tucked under the bow a bit so that it just kind of peeks out. Oh no, that looks like it's having some, you can't even see it. Do I tuck it under the flower? I'm not feeling that one at all, actually. I feel like these little guys are good, but this big guy, it's kind of weird. What do you think? I think think I'm going to tuck it in because this is like the perfect kind of project for this kind of thing. So a little bit of glue on the stem, and then we're going to tuck it in. And I'm going to do another one. I think I'm okay with that. But I want to see if I can balance this out a little bit. Although I don't think it's necessary. Hold on, let me see. I don't think it's necessary. I think that's good the way it is. I'm feeling it. So, in my opinion, we've got one step left because basically we're done. But the one step that's left is, first of all, I got to try to bend this ribbon back because it's making me a little irked. But what we're going to do is just tie a little bit of jute cord to the top of the stem, or like where the stem meets. You're really getting on my nerves, bro. It's kind of like a linen. So I feel like I could get it to curve. You just don't want to, huh? I don't know why. This one's fine. Oh, well, I'll figure it out. Okay, so last thing is we're going to add a hanger to this. So I'm going to make myself, I don't know, a few inches. Let's get these out of here. Everybody skedaddle. And I'm going to give my tabletop a quick wipe down because we are at the finish line. Okay, my glue gun is definitely awake now. It's spitting out all kinds of glue over there. All right, we did it. So let me flip this over. And what I'm going to do, we have a couple of options. Now, option one is you can add some glue right here and glue it right in there. I'm going to make a slip knot for mine. Hold on, let me think. Okay, so options are you make a slip knot, or what I call a slip knot, which is basically you put your jute cord end to end. Then you're going to take that and wrap it around your finger like that. And that loop that you just made on your finger, you're going to slide off of your finger and then tuck these ends right through them, through that one loop you made. And you too, bro. And then we're going to give it a slide, and that's going to make a loop that we can use. But for this particular one, I'm not going to use this style. But if you wanted to, you could put a bunch of glue here, glue this down by the knot, and then you can hang it right behind your stem. That's definitely an option I will take if what I have in mind doesn't work. So that's option one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep this in this shape in case I do decide to do that. Option two, which is the one I want to try, is I'm going to try to thread some of this, maybe a little bit longer, through the frame. Now that I'm looking at this, I don't think I can do that because I glued this to the frame, obviously. I could do around it. Oh, but you won't even see that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around where the frame and the backing don't meet. You see where there's that little gap? I'm going to slide that through there. And then I'm going to go under my loops and do the same thing on this side with the other end. Okay, and now basically I have, I don't know if you can see that, I have that string right underneath. So I've made myself a loop now, same deal, except now I don't need to use the glue. So what I'm going to do is tie this in a knot right at the base. And then I'm going to make myself a little loop similar to the one that we had earlier, which is I'm going to tie around my thumb. That's not my thumb, my index finger. Tuck the ends through the loop. And I'm going to make this pretty short so that it doesn't get seen over the stem of my pumpkin. I just want it big enough that I can thread my door hanger through it. And I think that should do very well. So we're going to slide it right here. That's good. I could make this a little tighter, actually. It's a little long. It might be seen over the top, and I don't want to see it. So we're going to open it and slide it just a tiny bit. All right, good enough. Beautiful. So now we have our hook or our loop for our final hang, for the good hang we're going to have. All right, are you guys ready? This is the final reveal of my very first ever pumpkin framed pumpkin. Here we go. Dun, 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 ba, 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 ba. Very good. Very nice. I am super pleased with the way this turned out. This is going to look fantastic on my front door. I really enjoyed making this with you. Let's do a quick recap before we head our separate ways for the day, unfortunately. We started off with this wire frame that I got from the dollar store several years ago. By the way, if you find any at your dollar store, let me know, because like a girl's been looking. I'm just saying. So wire pumpkin frame, and we put a nice jute rope over top of each of these ribs and also the outside and glued it right on. In future, I would do the outside rim first and then the ribs. So something to note for future. Secondly, then we took some foam board and we cut out the shape of the pumpkin so that we could glue our material over top. I would in future cut the board a little bit longer, just a bit, maybe like a 1/4 inch around, just to give yourself a little bit more room to glue that down. And then we can always go back and trim it if needed. I wouldn't love that, but it would probably be better. So that's definitely something I would try differently in the future. And then we glued our frame right onto our backing, and it worked out really well. It's holding really nicely. And then we made ourselves a beautiful messy bow by just cutting out a piece of ribbon, a bunch of different ribbons that I have. It works best if you have different like colors and different sizes as well. Some of mine are 2.5 inches. Some are more like a 1 inch. Some are really skinny. So that gives a lot of like texture and variety to the ribbon as well and to the bow. And then we just tied it together and made a beautiful messy bow. Added it to the top, and then we embellished with some sunflowers and a little bit of like, I don't know what this is called, berries, whatever. And that's our first pumpkin wreath. I'm thrilled. I think this came out great. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. I had a blast. If you did, please consider telling a friend, somebody who might enjoy learning about wreath making. I make wreaths live every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just kicked off the Fabulous Fall series with this project. So come back next week where I'm going to have another fall-themed wreath project ready to go. And we're going to have a fun time making it together. I'm also going to be live tomorrow, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'm going to be dot painting a really beautiful maple leaf. We're going to make a mandala on top of it. It's going to be a blast. I'm really excited about that. And we're going to be making some fall-themed candles on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Thursday until the end of this series. And I've got a bunch of great projects planned before we head into the Thanksgiving series. And then the Think Pink series for breast cancer awareness. I have a bunch of projects planned right up until the end of the year. I'm super pumped. I hope you join me because we're going to have so much fun together. And if you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out my channel. I have a ton of these step-by-step tutorials where you're with me every step of the way for the whole 2.5 hours or whatever it takes to get something done. And I also have a bunch of videos that are much shorter if you don't have a lot of time and you just want a little bit of creative inspiration that are 5, 10, 15 minutes long. So check out my channel, lots to see, lots of seasonal projects. And I've had a blast doing all of this together. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. Thanks, Tony. I think it came out really nice too. I'm super pleased with the way it turned out. I had a blast. I hope you did too. And, you know, like I said, come back next week. We're going to make another great project together. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo.